Welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to take you on the July garden tour. And as we walk through the garden, you're going to notice that I practice what's called intensive planting, which means that I plant a lot in a small space. And I let plants that volunteer just continue to grow, because plants that have gone through the winter and have volunteered, they are stronger, healthier, and they've weathered the storm, quote unquote. And they typically are some of my most vigorous plants in the garden each year. So rather than having things perfectly spaced out, like I said, intensely plant. And I've found that as long as I'm harvesting and cutting back and pruning and pulling out as needed, it really is the best way for me to garden and to get the most product out of the garden in one season. You'll also notice when we go through the tomato garden that I have let things just completely grow bushy in tomato cages. And at the other garden in my where I work at the dairy farm, in the chef's garden, I prune heavily and have them grow up a trellis. So I do two different types of tomato practices, if you would. And I find that it's interesting each year as to which ones do better. In my home garden, I think I'm just more lazy. And since I grow in cages, I just let them get really full. And somewhat tight, I guess, in a sense. It could be considered wrong in the way that there isn't a lot of airflow. And I don't prune up 1 to 2 feet on the bottom. I don't even worry about the little armpit suckers in my home garden. But in my chef garden at work, I do exactly the opposite. So both practices produce tomatoes. And you just have to see what grows best and what type of gardener you are and what you like to do. Because I really have found that both practices work really well. I haven't seen a difference in my zone 6A garden in both places. So there you have it. I mean, break the rules. And it's just all about an experiment and figuring out what type of gardener you are and how much you want to spend in the garden and how much production you want. You might not need tons and tons and tons of tomatoes to make sauce. And you might not have a lot of time to prune. So leaving things to be a little bit bushier is a good practice. But if you are meticulous and you want to grow up a trellis and you need to have a little bit more rigidity when it comes to spacing, then pruning heavily is also a great option. So as you watch this video and you see my gardens and you see how packed full they are, today you're going to see some holes because I have harvested and cut out, which is exactly what I'm talking about, that it is an ebb and a flow in the garden, that there's a lot of movement. So intensely planting isn't an issue. And you're not going to see like the perfectly spaced vegetables the way that you do in some gardens. And that is because I loved the diversity as well. I think it helps with the beneficial insects, the pollinators. I don't really have to use any pesticides. I don't use any pesticides, but I don't even have to use organic practices in my garden other than hand picking June bugs and squash beetle. Because I plant herbs and flowers and vegetables among herbs and medicinal plants, and I let volunteer sunflowers grow where they probably are taking up space to grow vegetables, but it's just more of a natural environment, and I have found that that is truly a beautiful way to grow your garden, as well as a very beneficial way to grow your garden. And so that's just my garden, and certainly as you play around in your garden and your zone, it's a trial and error. And some years you do really well with some practices, and some years you really fail, and that's just part of it, and that's the fun of it, really, if you just don't hold too tightly to what the outcome has to be. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. It's a little bit longer because I'm going to include my new cut flower garden, but I hope you stick along. I hope you stay along, stick with me through the whole thing, and if you enjoy it, subscribe and like and subscribe. So here we are at the front of the garden once again, and you can see this sunflower has grown exponentially since the last video. It's crazy. It's like Jack and the Beanstalk. It just keeps growing and growing and growing. But it sits right here in the front of the bed, not where I would have planted it if I had my say, but sometimes the garden has a say, and it volunteered itself, and I think it's absolutely beautiful. So I'll start over here. It's about 10:30 in the morning, so I've got half of the garden is shaded and half of it is full sun. So we'll just hopefully make do with the shadows. But this bed has exploded. As you can see in the front, we have the beautiful teddy bear sunflowers. Oh my gosh, I am absolutely loving them this year. I created kind of a front border with them on several of the beds, you'll see, but they're just so charming. And in the front is where I planted the zucchini rampicante, which planting zucchini in the front of this bed was a little bit of a risk because I wasn't sure if it would trail the right way, but it seems to be listening to me and going backwards and even making its way up the trellis. I'll stand over here a little bit out of the sun. You can see it's growing up with the cucumbers on the other side, but that's zucchini rampicante, and the blooms are beautiful. So hopefully all the pollinators are in there doing what they need to do so that we have fruit. We have a tomato in here, zinnia, echinacea, coneflower peeking out. And then over here in the trough, we have this gigantic marigold that I grew from seed. Oh, and the leftover jar of gross June bugs that I've been collecting as I see them. Oh, we have some here. Goodness, it's just ongoing. I'll have to come back and get those guys in a little bit here on the rhubarb, which I almost kind of look at that rhubarb, since I'm not really harvesting it right now, as a trap plant or a sacrificial plant, because it seems to be attracting all of the June bugs, which I'm fine with if that's where they stay. So we have, of course, the beautiful thyme in front. The tarragon is growing so lovely, and peeking over here on this side, stay out of the shadow, is the comfrey. And then you can see on the back side of this bed where the zucchini rampicante was, is I interplanted cucumber, and those are making their way up. Oh, we have a little bit of zucchini rampicante starting there with that beautiful blossom. Oh my gosh, these blossoms are so pretty. And of course, edible. Oh, stuffed with cheese. Of course, you don't want to take the female blossoms because of course that's where the fruit comes from. But the male blossoms are perfect to take and cook with. A little bit of catnip peeking out there. Over here, I don't know if you watched the June garden tour, but I had cut back all of this stinging nettle down to the soil level basically, and it's coming back for a full growth back in July. And then in the front here I have the catnip and a little bit of squash peeking out here on the bottom. Squash and beans, which are making their way up this trellis here. And in here have some turnips. Let's see how they're doing. They're like starting to form in there. Let's see. Still got some time. I'm not sure what this is. I mean, it looks like a marigold, but boy, it's getting really big for a marigold, but we'll see what happens with that. Catnip and asparagus that has gone to seed over here, with beans going up this trellis here. I have several different types of beans on this. We've got the Blue Lake pole beans, but we've also got several dry bean varieties on that. So that's going to be fun to see, but it's made it over halfway. And I'm so glad because I did not underplant this area over here soon enough because I had the peas there last time and I took those out. And so there's a few random squash plants growing there. I don't even know what those are. Probably came back from last year, but now that the peas are gone, it's starting to grow a little bit more. I kind of have basically given this bed over to these sunflowers. We have zinnia in the front and stevia back here, but these zinnias and then these branching volunteer sunflowers underplanted with romaine lettuce and a volunteer borage plant, and then more sunflowers on this back edge here. And this, we have the strawberries, which are pretty much done for the season, and bee balm, which the pollinators are loving. See a sweet little bumblebee right there, making her way around, gathering all the pollen and helping everything grow. Okay, so here we have the bed that had the underplanted parsley, and this is the marshmallow plant that was so pretty, so big, but due to winds and storms, it has completely fallen over. So I'm gonna be cutting that out and be done with that for the season. The pollinators have loved it, but it's time to go. I cut some for making some medicinal skincare products with the leaves, and I'll combine those with calendula. So it was not for nothing. And then the hyssop is starting to lose its vibrant purple color, which is sad to see, but the pollinators are still all over it, which is so valuable. We have the broccoli and Brussels sprouts in here, and the radishes are coming along under here. You can see still a little ways to go. They were shaded out by all the rhubarb that was in here. I had cut that down to the soil level, and within 2 weeks, this is the new fresh rhubarb that has resprouted. So can't get rid of that stuff. And then in this open area, I planted bush beans. So we'll see how those are Oh, I think they're starting to pop up a little bit. I don't know if you can see a little bit, but I think that by the next video we should see some signs of the bush beans. And then the beets are doing really well. Here's a close-up of the golden beets in here. We'll be harvesting those this weekend for the farm stand. And I cleaned out this bed. I don't know if you remember, I had that made in the mist flower that had really taken over. It was crowding out everything, so I cut that out. The cabbages are doing much better with a little bit more sunshine hitting them and not being choked out by that. So cleaning this up, I'll insert a video of that whole process of cleaning this bed out. This is the time of year that you are editing, adding still, and harvesting and sowing. So it's a busy season, as you know. Okay, I'll go over here to the tomato bed, which has exploded. I was looking back at some old videos of when I was sitting and tediously upplanting my tomato seedlings, and now look at them. They're doing so well. This whole area here is San Marzano, which is going to be my sauce making tomatoes, and then throughout the rest of the bed we have all different types of large slicing tomatoes, all different colors. Black, orange, yellow, of course, big beefsteak. So that's going to be fun. Take you back over here, and the broccoli romanesco is not really forming a head, which, I mean, the leaves are beautiful, and I don't know, we'll just wait it out and see what's going to happen here. I cut out cabbage here in the front that we have, the conical Chesterfield cabbage. There's one left there still growing. A little bit of pest pressure, but not on the head part, so that's a good sign. Then we have the other trough with mostly herbs in it. Basil doing lovely. I replanted the cilantro, cut out the old, replanted more in here. Another comfrey plant for medicinal purposes. Stinging nettle, I'm gonna cut that out. I think I mentioned that last time. I just haven't gotten around to it because I never have my gloves when I think about it. And of course, that would be a little uncomfortable to cut out at this point. But I'm gonna do that because don't need that much stinging nettle. Here we have some mint and the summer savory in this bed. Then on the back side of this front trellis, we have the bunching onions, and the okra has started to do so well in here. I know, hopefully you can see it with the sun, but it has made its way. So I have two different types. I have the red spineless and then the traditional green okra there. So looking forward to that. That should get really tall in here. These two trellises are packed full of cucumbers, doing really well on this trellis. I harvested about 20 cucumbers yesterday from these, so that's doing really well. We'll make a lot of pickles with those. Again, we have the teddy bear sunflowers on both sides. I'm just in love. I'm so in love with these sunflowers. And our raspberry patch is coming along so well. Won't be long before we'll be eating on those. So excited. So on the other side of this cucumber trellis, we have some volunteer cherry tomatoes that have made their way in here. And then the carrots in here, let's see how they're doing. They seem to be, I harvested some in here, but oh yeah, we got some back here. They're the little Danver kind. So that's good. Those are really good. So I'll spend the rest of the day on those. And over here we have more turnip, more cabbage. Love cabbage for making sauerkraut. This is the broccoli romanesco bed. I didn't plant anything on this side, although I think I'm going to today put more Blue Lake pole beans on this side of the trellis. On this alternate side is moonflower. This is the first year I'm growing this, and I cannot wait to see how it does. As well as loofah. Loofah should be in there somewhere. I think it's that pointy leaf. The heart-shaped leaf is the moonflower. I think this pointy leaf here is the loofah. Not certain about that. And all of these volunteer tomatoes, I just kind of let the nasturtium in the front of the pepper bed. Peppers are coming along beautiful. We have all kinds of different peppers in here. And then more of the small squash on the back side of this, making its way up the trellis as well. I keep feeding the tendrils up the other way to instead of towards the raspberries, put them up over the trellis, so make up for this empty side over here. And then we have over here the tea garden and medicinal bed, which is doing so well. I'm just so pleased to see everything growing so well. It has grown exponentially since last month with the marigolds and the clary sage, horehound, make some cough drops, lavender, feverfew, and behind there will be echinacea. Peeking over there is the chamomile, and here in the front, lemongrass, bronze fennel, more catnip there. In the back, motherwort and elecampane, as well as chocolate mint, regular mint, and then a repeat of the motherwort and elecampane back there. And then over here we have the calendula, which I'll add to the marshmallow for the skin care, as well as other soothing skin products, and the lovely fragrant holy basil for tea and lemon verbena for everything. This is just the most incredible lemon smelling plant. It just is so proficient with the lemon smell like nothing else. So great for teas, great for anything that that you just want that lemon scent exploding in. And then we have the blue turmeric, which is a very rare turmeric. Happy to see that doing well. Skullcap and wormwood. Actually, this is wormwood, and that's the skullcap. And then I have the struggling lemon cucumbers, which probably should have been planted in the ground, but hopefully it will do well in this grow pot. So that is how everything is doing right now. I mean, we have some wins, we have some losses. Some things are exploding. Other things are taking a long time to get going, and that's just the nature of gardening. You just never know from year to year, from weather pattern to weather pattern, how things will grow. And I'm happy overall with how everything's doing. And so that is the vegetable garden, but I'm going to also take you over to the cutting garden. This is the first year that I have concentrated on this area. It's a new area right over here next to the vegetable garden. So come along. And again, it's a very similar situation over here as far as some things doing great and some things not so great. So in the front, I planted sunflowers, which are doing great. They had a slow start, but they're really starting to take off now. So excited to see those. Those are the big ones. And then in the second row, I started all these cosmos by seed, and for the most part doing really well. Have some rare black cosmos here in the front that I've never grown. I'm really excited to see. They're just really slow taking off, but I don't know if you can kind of see this. If it's gonna clear up there with the focus. It's small, so I'm not sure what it will eventually do, but that is a rare black cosmo. And then dahlias here, and dahlias back to back all the way down this row, starting to do really well here. I've got to tie those up today. And then we have a little bit of everything in this bed. We got dahlias, we have marigolds, snapdragons, and then all this celosia was self-sown. I had snapdragon, I had stock in here, and you can see a little bit here. And it has completely gotten overgrown by all of the celosia that self-seeded itself. But it looks so pretty, and I'm hoping I can use it in bouquets, which I think that I will. And then this incredible windmill. I'll tell you about that in just a second. We'll come back to that. But on the front side of this row, I have dahlias growing, and then more celosia and coxcomb. Look at this rainbow coxcomb. Oh, the colors, the variegated colors. Oh. And then this one, this orange one. Look at that. Doesn't it look like a brain? It's just the coolest flower ever. Oh, here's a big one. Look at that. Wow. So cool. And then look at this dahlia. Hi. You're so pretty. Doing lovely. Really well. Oh gosh, I just saw, come on, I gotta go, I gotta show you this. Look at this. This is why I've gotta stake them. Oh my goodness. Hello, pink beauty, beauty. Look at you. Oh, you are so stunning. Okay, I gotta prop you up so that you don't. Let's see if I can just prop you up for a minute until I can get you tied up there. Okay. So yeah, so those are starting to grow really well. And then we have these two beds, which are trailing behind. I planted teddy bear sunflowers in the front, of course. Surprise, surprise. Here I have Craspedia, which is slow growing, and then Lisianthus, my first time growing Lisianthus. And I heard how hard it is to grow Lisianthus, and I have to say, I agree. It's just so slow. I literally started these seeds in January, and this is as far as we've gotten in July. I must be doing something wrong. If you have any words of wisdom, let me know in the comments below. Back there, I planted zinnia, and then this whole row is the Bonari giant zinnia, which should be so much bigger than it is right now. And for some reason, it just seems to have been stunted. So I'm patiently waiting, but I am happy to see some beautiful flowers starting. And it looks like some June beetle pressure as well. But when this gets going, oh yeah, look at that, there he is. Hello, Buggy. Coming to get you with my soapy water. So these guys are doing good. These are moving really slow. We'll see. I want to tell you about my wind vane here. A friend of mine called me the other day and asked me if I wanted this. And I was like, absolutely. I mean, look at how fabulous and rusty. I love anything that's rusty. I mean, how cool is that? And it's so perfect here in the cutting garden. It just added that height and that rustic farm element to it. So I couldn't be more happy with that. Oh, I just love it. It makes me smile every time I look at it. So there you have it, the July vegetable garden. I hope you enjoyed that tour. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment below. I am a garden coach and consultant in the Indianapolis area. So if you're interested in that, also comment below. I'd be so happy to meet with you and discuss your garden. But other than that, I'm so appreciative that you guys are here with me and that you find my content enjoyable and hopefully helpful in some ways as to what a 5B, 6A zone garden looks like in July. Take care.